We are live, Raven Street Dance Studio. We're here in Fort Totten, North Dakota, and we came to the fort. It's pretty creepy, not gonna lie. This is the boys' dormitory, but I just wanted to give a quick tour of like what we're seeing. And God, I don't really like it. I just can't imagine what the children went through. I mean, I'm not gonna say that like everybody was bad that they encountered, but like for real. I just don't know how this mixes, and it doesn't. So pretty much this tried to take over this and has for a very long time. But now we are in enlightenment period. It's time for us to learn and to explore and to do it better, and to never put our children through this type of trauma. It wasn't a choice. They were made to do this. They would come through with wagons and the military would take the children, whether it was willing or not. Many children ran. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. If you are familiar with not the legend, but the history of Fort Totten and Spirit Lake, which often the white people refer to as Devil's Lake, there is a being that lives in the water and protects the sacred of the most sacred. Many say there's a portal. The stories are remarkable. Oh my gosh, so wagons, just like these, would come and take the children and bring them to these schools. If these walls could talk, I don't know that we would want to hear what they have to say. Like I said, I'm not trying to say that everyone was bad, but it's just not a very happy place. Anyone that is forced to come and change everything, not some things, but literally everything about themselves, it's sad and it's wrong. And so now that there's awareness, not that the wrongs can be made right, but just that we can face the trauma and get past it. Many of the stories that I've heard from the locals in the area is that there are underground tunnels. They even capped some, and it wasn't necessarily for safety. It was because even the whites knew the power and the stories behind this place. The White Buffalo Calf woman is said to have come through the water and come here. Not saying that she only came here. I'm just saying that she may have came here first, or maybe not even first, just she came here along her journey. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's scary. This is a hospital at Fort Totten. It says it was completed in 1870. So they had, can you imagine? They had Native American children here, and they had, wow, they had military people here. And I'm not saying that they can't mix, but like, she looks creepy, sorry. If you saw this woman standing here, would you feel loved? Would you feel safe? I'm not picking on anyone. This is just history, but it's, I don't know. Make your own thoughts or feelings or... This is a part of our history. We were taught many things that were not true. They were not true. And like I said, now with, especially the internet, you have no excuse but to Google. Wow. They would take you out of your Native American clothes and your boxes, perhaps, and your moccasins that your family sent you with, and then they changed you into this. Take the time to explore. When you travel, stop at museums, stop at these places, and just learn. Not to make anyone get angry or resentful, but just so that you can have a better awareness. I would imagine being here would be very scary and lonely. It was named Devil's Lake by the powers that be. Whoa. Bruh. There. Creepy. Not gonna lie. But it's called Spirit Lake. It's called Spirit Lake because there's a spirit that came to the people to bring the pipe. White Buffalo Calf Woman is an amazing story, and it's not just a story, it's the truth. Devil's Lake, they say has no beginning or end. Like they do those like dye tests, and they can't find traces of where it goes or where it begins. It's a natural aquifer here. Maybe that's how the White Buffalo Calf Woman traveled through the earth, through the water, to spread the help and the prayer and to give us our ways, because at times our people did lose their way. I think this is a military side. As you can see, this is a large area. The garden is beautiful. There's a teepee over there. They probably host events here, but I would not want to go here. The principal's residence, heck no, sorry, but not sorry. Or the chaplain. Just think they probably huddled together in their dorms and prayed together, like the way that they should, the way they were taught. But I just wanted to show you what we're seeing and to invite you to take the step and to learn to just know a little more each day. My grandma often said that you should learn a new thing each day. This place is kept up nice, but there's no way in heck I would stay here overnight. I'm sorry. I don't know. As the Native American, maybe if you're like a military person, you would want to stay overnight. I'm not saying don't come here. Absolutely, North Dakota tourism. This is a spot that you would put on your list. It just depends on your dynamics. If you're here in a good way, then, I suppose you have a good stay, but I just don't think that I could, knowing the trauma that has occurred here. This is the commanding officer's quarters. Let's see. Oh, wow. Fort Totten, Indian boys in field uniform. So these are native boys. Oh my God. Wow. This is a trip. They had sports here. They probably had some of the best athletes ever. They taught the girls how to do laundry, housekeep, work, and the boys were taught to farm and build. Often the industrial schools, they taught them trades, how to be, woodworkers or, what do you call them, blacksmiths. Wow. That's a trip. Look at this stove, it's cute.
Is this little like a really nice?
Yes, I would think that working here, you probably had it made. I mean, but because they look happy, right? Right?
They look scary.
But they do. This is creepy. As far as I just don't know how I could get up every morning and know what I was doing. You can't say you didn't work here and didn't know what the hell was going on. You can't say you weren't a part of it. Oh, we're here to, what is it? Kill the Indian and save the man. Get out of here. And constantly, I believe the children lived in fear completely. And so that fear is still inside of a lot of us. So a lot of times we drink, we resort to drugs. The trauma is still very present. And so it's our responsibility to face the fear so that we won't be enslaved, because we're not living enslaved in a boarding school anymore. We have choices. And so therefore seek the help. Text me even. I will legit help you no matter what I can do if you're ready. Oh my God.
Assimilation.
Okay, this says the girls' dormitory. Every evening was the worst, I think, because it was always lonesome. Other girls would be crying, and I cried a lot of times too. That was the worst part of school, in the evenings. And that's Kristen Alex, a former student of the Grey Nuns Indian Industrial School in St. Michael, North Dakota. American Indian boarding schools like Fort Totten were established across the country to educate young Native children into mainstream American culture. The system often involved the forced removal of children from their homes to attend the schools. Many do not see their families for several years. Upon arrival, the children were confronted with many new and strange situations. This was very clearly seen in the dormitories. The transition from home life to the industrial school was extremely difficult for many children or many students. The dormitories were often overcrowded, with each dormitory housing up to 70 students. At one point, Fort Totten had over 400 students living at the school. Evenings were often a fearful and lonely time for the children. "80 students," they said a little bit. I pray that, there were some that were kind and loving, but that's a stretch. I don't even know why I'm crying. But that's super sad. In the state of North Carolina, we as Native Americans went to the state and we petitioned that we be in charge of the education of our children. And, the dynamics were different for every people, even amongst the same tribe. It changed by the day what you had to do to survive. And no one can say that their struggle was worse or better, or, you know what I mean? It just was different. This is the Sew and Tailor shop. Many of the girls probably sewed here and they were learning. They probably, used those skills. Oh, look. They probably looked back on their training and appreciated it at times, but I don't think it came in a good way. Even the boys became tailors, some of them.
No girl must leave the sewing room at the end of the year without being able to draft, cut, and fit garments of all kinds. cut patterns, cut lining, cut material, face lining with canvas, base lining to material, base gores together 3/4 inch seams, fit, stitch seams, take out basting, trim if necessary, press, finish seams by binding, overcasting or any neat way, face lower edge with velveteen or other facing materials, make and put on band, sew on hooks and eyes, sew on loops, mark center, make and insert pocket. Wow.
That's a lot. Do you see a syllabus like that these days anywhere? But look at them. You know what? We are amazing garment makers, not just powwow clothes. I mean, honestly, you have not even seen what we can do. I believe that now in this day and time, especially after COVID, we've been able to take our skills in a new direction, in different directions, creative directions. But basically, they were making them do all the sewing for all the military, like for real, bro. There was no Etsy. They were Etsy. Oh, God. That's why Singer and Brother, well, Singer especially, should give every Native American a discount or a free machine. I'm just saying. Because legit, they probably were full of singers here. I don't know, this place, would you stay here?
No.
But us visiting, you know what? Look at that. That's, I mean, I know the standard to like have cellars, but when they're saying that there are tunnels, this was a prison. This is a fort. So this would house POWs. It was a place for the military to live, excuse me, and have base camp. But it was also a prison. So technically, these students were POWs. And so many of them were not returned. So what do they do today as far as a POW? They legit will send in Navy SEALs, freaking ops. You know what I'm saying? Going in, getting them, and they have a lot of rules and they have a lot of regulations behind war crimes. So are they being charged with war crimes? Even though this was back in the day. This is a military compound run by the United States government. So there needs to be where they stand up and say, you know what? We knew this shit was going on. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. But like, come on. Like all the covering up and all of the misinformation. Try a free game. No, I'm good. But that is an old school game where they would spin the hoop and then they would throw the stick through the hoop. Oh, okay. This is a gift shop. Yeah. I don't even know if I want to come in here. Hey. I really don't. Hi. How are you? Hi. I'm recording. Is that okay?
I don't want to be rude.
Okay. It's okay. I'm just recording the fort. I don't have to record you. How is it like working here?
Good. I like working
Is it like you like working here, but then do you feel like a lot of the energy of things that went on here? I mean, I don't have to ask. I can stop recording, but I just being here, it's overwhelming, and it's really sad. It is. So I can't. Are you from here? Are you from here?
Yeah.
So I can't imagine being from here and like probably your grandma. Did your grandmother come here?
She probably did, but my mother and a couple of my uncles came to school here.
And did they say it was okay? Have they shared?
In their generation here, yes, it was okay for them. They got to get on a school bus and go home after school.
Oh, okay.
So
So
bus back to school in the morning again.
so things changed in the boarding schools as far
There's
as.
like different generations, and I believe my mother, her mother, and her mother came here. So possibly 3 generations.
Mhm.
This boarding school was opened in 1891. So those ones who knew, maybe my great-great-grandmother was alive when came here. I don't know.
Right.
I never got that far into history, but on my mother's side, she told me there was no horror stories, no no bad things happened to them. It happened to the ones before them.
But wouldn't you say that the trauma that the original ones endured, like it travels because what they experienced, then that went into how they raised their kids, and then so on and so on. So even though it wasn't necessarily your experience, that experience goes into making you you.
It's in their DNA. Yes, it's in their blood, and it's passed down to us. And yeah, we feel trauma the way they felt it, but it happened to them, but we still feel it ourselves. So
But that just is a different.
We're in the theater. Hey. Oh my God. Whoa.
Icky, right?
I don't think most of the boarding schools had. Do you think they did?
No.
Maybe because it was military fort as well, then they had better accommodations, or like more
Yeah.
accommodations. But I'm sorry, doors like that, they scare me. And like right there, I mean, you can say whatever you want, but bad stuff happened here. Hey. But like she said earlier, she said that the earlier generations that came dealt with a lot of trauma. But then as the years went on, the native people did not sit back and let that shit keep happening. They would, have inquiries. And when, after the first couple of years, when they were literally, their children were never even coming home, like ever coming home, then even more as we progressed, we started standing up for ourselves and started demanding inquiries, and they had to do, show autopsies or have proof of life, I guess if you could say. But still, when the foundation is built on oppression and death and rape and murder, yeah, it might get a little bit better, but I don't know how much better it could get. Oh, no. Okay, what? Okay. And I'm not telling you guys to be hateful, to be resentful. I'm telling you to learn and to have an understanding, and to don't walk around blindly and just a follower. Be a leader. And so we're gonna lead our way up out of here. Thank you for visiting Fort Totten. Oh, what is it? The who?
Cold. There's no AC in here, but it's cold.
Okay. Look at it. What she need? What does she need that for? To poke the fire? What in the... Okay, seriously. This is in Fort Yates. I can't remember if you read... about how many there wouldn't have been need for acts like that if there wasn't unjustness in the first place. Ridiculous. Yeah, they weren't assigned, okay. A lot of it, just don't be thinking that for one moment they gave a damn. Look at that. This all started with Carlisle. Oh, yeah, right here. See? Carlisle. And basically, this man that was in the military needed to keep a job. So he came up with this project, and he took these POWs that were Apache, and he conformed them into military, totally, probably brainwashed them, beat them, starved them, everything he could into submission. And so then he presented, oh heck no, you better quit it. And he presented that study to the military or to the government. And then the government started these schools all over, many that were funded through the church. Make your own thoughts and assumptions. I'm not trying to lead you in any kind of way. I'm just providing you with the information. So, thank you for coming with me. Shki.